Puppet in Peril on the Ron and Fez show.
I don't like puppets, and Roberto is a puppet. Therefore I cannot like him. I don't like puppets, and Roberto is a puppet. Therefore I cannot like him. Ain't it funny how we never hear you and Dave talking at the same time?
Roberto.
Ain't it funny how we never hear you and Dave talking at the same time?
Roberto.
You're a dummy. I hope the termites eat you alive. You're made of wood and you look like Charlie McCarthy.
Monday.
Oh, buddy, it's the Ron and Fez show. What a party we had the other night, Fez. Hiya, buddies. At Caravas in the village. All right, Ron and Fez show. I'm Ron, there's Fez. Hiya, buddies. Earl and music. Party at Caravas in the village over the weekend. Great time. Some people had a really, really great time. A lot of things, a lot of drinks flowing at Caravas. I do not want to give out any names, Fez, because what happens at a Ron and Fez party should stay at a Ron and Fez party. But some nights when you go out, people are drinking, and that's the reason why you go out to party. You go out to enjoy yourself, to have a nice time. And every party you have, one person is probably going to be a little too drunk, and then the people in the party come in to make sure that person is okay. But when it turns into a landmine, where there's one person too drunk, and as you go to him, there's another person behind you too drunk, and it's like the bird flu just sailing up and down and around the steps at this party, you know it's one of those nights. You couldn't go upstairs, you couldn't go downstairs, you couldn't go outside without somebody that you know well being so drunk and telling you something from their personal life that you don't want to hear. I can only say this party, total embarrassment to 45% of the people who showed up. Like drunk dominoes they went down, to the point of you couldn't have a conversation with most of the people, where you would try to talk to people and try to get away from a drunk person, but the next person you talk to is just as much nonsense. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Now, you would think the one thing that we could act like was okay was our own staff. You could act like, you know what, at least we know our gang is going to be there. But we had our own weak link that night. Young brother runs by the name of Eastside Dave. Embarrassed himself in ways that, and I will not mention anyone else. Please relax now, ladies and gentlemen, because you're friends of ours. You got a little too carried away, but it is a family, so we're going to look out for you. So you're okay. But a member of our own staff, Fezzy, who should not have been even drinking by Hoyle, by any rule of society that we have, I believe if he was not the most embarrassing, he was right up there with it. And here's what now embarrasses me for Eastside Dave, is he has now taken on the realm of professional. He's a professional entertainer and behaved in what could not be described in a professional way. It was an embarrassment. And here's what happened, too. That embarrassed me more than anything else. Anthony was there. Anthony was there, and Eastside Dave decided him and Roberto were going to go up and perform with the band. Well, we had talked about that before, that they were going to go up and perform. And I told him time and time again, is this going to be a decent show? Is this going to be together? And this is before I realized that Anthony was going to be hanging out. And I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit and just tell you something that we don't say every day here. And we don't say it because we are professionals. Anthony is Willie Mace. Now, we're all professional ball players. We know what we're doing. But one of us happens to be Willie Mace. The man plays on a different level.
Now, since we wear the same uniform, we don't bring it up. We don't go, hey, there's Willie Mays. We act like, yes, we're all on the same team. But there he is. He's Willie Mays. He's the place triples go to die. We know this, so we try to, when we're performing around him, be at a decent level. If I miss the O&A show during the day, and I tend to do that because I keep odd hours, I'll just call up Fez and I'll go, how did Willie Mays do today? He's going to go 3 for 4 and he stole 2. So when Willie Mays is playing, you don't act like a moron with your stupid puppet. You try to act like a professional. If Charlie Parker walks into a club, you don't say to yourself, hey, I play too, stick your ass up to a tube and fart into it. You do not do that in front of the bird. Now, at this point, Anthony comes in, Fez and I are in a good mood, we're taking care of him and his chick, everybody's happy, it's the early part of the night. Little do I know, my retarded little brother has wandered up on stage, deciding to shit in a cup and then rub it into his red hair. At this point, Eastside Dave and Roberto say they are going to perform for us. A chill goes through my body because I say to myself, I'm sitting next to Roy Hobbs, the best there's ever been. I know this for a fact. Eastside Dave goes on stage, attempts to perform, and actually doesn't turn the mic on at all. He has a soaking wet puppet that's dripping ugly, disgusting puppet juice all over himself, and the jaw doesn't work, so there is no illusion of song. And what was the song he was singing, Fez?
It was Del Shannon's Little Runaway.
Now, I'm sitting next to Anthony. Fez is next to Ant's chick because, let's face it, she's his favorite. He's the favorite of her. You know why? Defenseless bunny. Me on the other side, maybe I'm crying out for help. Maybe that is why I act like a mean person. I don't know. Maybe that's the child that needs more love. That's a whole different story. Fez turns to me, and Fez, you were absolutely white as this was going on.
Oh, man, I couldn't believe it because this is, he's up there and there's no stopping him at this point. The band's playing.
Yeah.
You can't hear a word.
The rocket has left the launch pad. There's nothing we can do about it. You look at me and you say, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, and I'm like, if there was a steak knife on the bar that I could have flung across the room into the heart of either Roberto or Dave.
Well, hit Dave, not Roberto. It doesn't make sense to hit Roberto.
I would have done it, and and immediately, after I tell you I think I'm going to throw up, I'm thinking, is there any way to excuse myself from Anthony and his chick?
Right.
You know, so I can slink away.
Mr. and Mrs. Willie Mays.
So that I'm just the Mazes. So that it looks like, you know, oh, just some drunk listener got up on stage and started being nutty.
Yeah, and then they're going, isn't that the redheaded kid from your show?
Oh. And there's such a place in my heart for Anthony, because he was so good to me after I had my heart attack.
Let's not make it about you.
I know, but still, there's just a place in my heart there. I feel like I'm part of the family.
You know what? I wouldn't even care, Fez. He could spit every day. He's still Willie Mays. That part, whether he's nice or not, Roy Hobbs has entered the building. Can we please keep it together?
And besides not even turning on his mic, Eastside Dave is just lit at this point, too. He's practically stumbling up there, eyes rolling back in his head.
He has been handing his tips to the bartender, Chinese lighting money, whatever that happens to be. So the bartender's also running around. Mikey D has screamed at me, neither one of your producers showed up today. I had to run sound by myself and hang up the XM banners. Says, I don't know what happens here. I do not know what happens.
Dave made a vow to us days ago that he was not going to drink at that gig. He was going to be professional. By the time I got there, he was 3 white Russians into it.
And then like a schoolgirl yelling out, this is so sweet, I don't even taste the alcohol. That's what a 16-year-old girl says, not a full-grown man. You don't run around talking about how good your drink tastes. Oh, what a fucking nightmare.
And with everyone else so smashed, He should have been one of the people that was, maybe walking around helping put out fires, not being the wildfire, the controlled burn that he is.
Well, it wasn't my best day. Maybe.
Was it your last?
I would hope not.
So now you're telling us at the end of the night, you lost, and I don't know whether you were... Oh, I guess you were still there, right, Fez?
Yeah, I was still there.
At the end of the night, and this guy, he attempts to call me at home over this, you lose your puppet.
Yeah, my puppet was lost.
Roberto.
So I think, until I found a napkin where Roberto had been stationed the entire night that said...
All right, where you say that Roberto had been stationed, do you know that you put on 2 different women's coats and ruined both coats with stinky puppet runoff?
Jean jackets all look alike. There should be some sort of marker.
Why would you stick a ugly, disgusting puppet that had been soaking for a week in its own juices on anyone's jacket?
Well, I sort of thought it was my coat. Because again, the denim look, it's not very unique.
2 women at our party could not wear their jackets home because you ruined them with dripping puppet Kool-Aid water.
I'll pay the dry cleaning bill on those. I promise.
They're not going to dry clean that. They're going to throw it out. That's like saying, oh, I spanked all over your kid, but don't worry, here's a bar of soap. It's going to be fine. They will go everywhere the rest of their life just thinking a filthy David Blaine-type puppet was on top of this coat. Why drunk at the gig when you know that you were supposed to perform?
Well, it was in a bar, and I thought, maybe I'll just have a White Russian. I just watched Big Lebowski and thought that would be a nice drink to have.
Here's another thing. I hate people who drink what they just saw someone drink in a movie, whether it's a martini or whatever. That's not a drinker. That's a girl.
Well, so I thought, and they were tasting, very delicious that night. Very, nice and...
Yeah, you told me. You told me a lot of times.
Over and over.
When you weren't telling me that you love me, and this is the best job you've ever had.
Oh, fuck.
And we're all best friends, and we're going to be best friends forever.
Let me ask you this, Ronnie. With Eastside Dave and that speeches you're just bringing up, did you also get the very slow, I'm leaning in to kiss you on the cheek, Eastside Dave?
No. He wouldn't fucking dare.
That's what I got.
Well, that's your own fault, because I would have choked him out so fast, and there's not a jury that would have convicted me, Fez. Now, at the same time, I'm dealing with other people. You know what I mean? People that are listeners, subscribers, if you will.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Clients.
Okay.
And they're falling in puddles. They're doing mad dashes away. The people are breaking up in front of us. Okay? One guy said the room was filled with evil, and he needed his brother there to protect him.
It was a pretty wild night.
It was a bad, crazy night for a sober person.
It had that Doors 1968 in Miami, where Jim Morrison just loses it and starts calling everyone slaves and that Hitler is better than them.
I mean, we're down in this cellar, deep in the village, and it's the Dinkins years. It's like we had walked in to a crack den.
Now, that place is a great place, but every time we have a function there, it's pure evil. And maybe...
Who are you, Rory now? I don't want to hear the term evil again. No one is evil. They just subscribe to a different service than you, Rory. Don't go out of your way and talk voodoo stuff.
Well, it just has a strange vibe then. I won't say evil, but a strange...
People drink more there. That is true.
And because it's in the basement, it's got that, there's no sunlight.
I know, it's Paris. It's like the underground Paris scene. It's a junkie hellhole. We love it for that reason. And I do not even mind the party people getting out of control. But you, of all people, you're dragging a sick, dead puppet around with you, which you apparently lose or is taken from you, like you're a girl.
Yeah.
You embarrass yourself in front of Aunt.
Yeah, maybe. I
take that so personally.
Why did you have the mic? Why wasn't the mic turned on?
I think it was, Ron.
Why didn't the puppet's jaw work?
Well,
why didn't you have 2 mics?
Can we?
So the puppet had its own mic instead of just hanging off your side like a dead piece of meat. There was no illusion. There was no illusion of anything, that the puppet was alive for a second. The jaw didn't move. It didn't make the spotlight.
I don't even think, well, it was impossible to hear him, but I don't even think he changed his voice to sing as himself and Roberto.
I changed